What is happening, people? We're finally back. Been saying for ages, need to get the podcast back going, and here we are. We're back for whatever episode we are at Chat and Pony. Can't remember what it is. Someone will defo work it out, and I'll be thankful for that. But yeah, today we're back to basics. We've got my man, my teammate in. We've got teammate.
My teammate.
Team Nathan. My teammate Nathan Fletcher in. Yeah, recently won his first fight in the UFC. But obviously, like I do with everyone, go back to the start, lad. How did you obviously get into MMA?
Okay. Patrick, thank you very much for having me on, brother. I appreciate being
full
your
titles and that, yeah.
Patrick. I never call you Patrick.
I was about to say, I don't think Nathan's ever called me Patrick before.
I call you Pad.
In his life.
So how I first got into MMA, okay, so I had a mate in school. He loves me telling this story, I think, to be honest. But like, he's the reason I got into it. So I had a mate in school called Kieran, and like he was his older brother's actually been. I don't know if you remember. He's been to our gym a few times. He's called Aaron. He's one of the army lads. He knows like Rims.
Yeah, I'm probably on him. Yeah, I know him like with names.
So anyway, Key was like the hardest kid in school. Basically, he was the only one who fought. Like no one really done boxing. No one done anything. There was like a few kids good at footy, and then Key was doing MMA when like nobody else knew what it was. Do you know what I mean? So I was probably in like year 9. And I was just gravitating towards him. He was one of the boys. He was sound. He was one of my mates. And I don't know what it was, but like maybe being a bit of a smaller kid, I suppose, I was like always had that feeling of like, if I got into a scrap, I'd probably get filled in. And I wanted to be able to defend myself. And I knew that Key was like the hard kid in the school.
Yeah.
So I was like, what do you do, lad? What's this MMA that you do? Because I think I tried like a week or two at a boxing gym in Ormskirk near Southport, and like wasn't really into it. So yeah, I just approached him, lad, and then he was training at a gym in Southport called the Dog Pit, which I've probably told you about before.
I've heard of that gym before, to be honest.
So this is like, it's just a little small gym in Southport, like the only one really, the only MMA gym, bar the one where Gittins used to train.
Yeah.
And laddie was going there, so literally went with him. I remember it was a Tuesday night, and he just battered me everywhere, lads, all over. The guy tapped me loads of times, beat me up, boxing, everything. And I realised, like, wow, I do not know how to fight. Like, I need to learn this, do you know what I mean? So since that day, I fell in love with it, kept training, ran with it. And I think I trained there from, so say year 9 to like, when I was in college, doing my A-levels. And that's when I become, like, through that time, become mates with Cullen. And then because of him, we found Next Gen. Like, I didn't have a clue about UK MMA or anything like that, but Cullen was onto you and Fishy and that at the time, and all the other lads in the gym. So Cullen was like, lad, if we want to, do this properly, we need to go to a real gym. We need to go to Liverpool. So thanks to Colin, lad, we found Next Gen.
See, you know what? That's mad, because I thought you wrestled first.
Well, I basically did. So because that was such a small gym, there was nobody there. It was me and Cullen, essentially. And then there was a coach there called Carl, who was a wrestler. He was like freestyle wrestling. That was his thing. So we used to do his sessions. So we ended up doing most nights of the week in this MMA gym was wrestling sessions. And then because of that, he took us to Bolton, Wigan, Manchester, that's where we met Charlie Bowling. Yeah. And then we started wrestling with him. So really, I started MMA at like 14, but I didn't actually do MMA until I came to Next Gen. Do you know what I mean? Like, I walked into an MMA gym wanting to do MMA, ended up doing freestyle wrestling for like 4 years, and then came to Next Gen. Yeah.
It's weird, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Definitely. It's given me a good base for the, obviously, I've taken to the grappling now, and I am more of a grappler, like, but that's how I got into it, lads. Just was in school, small, wanted to be hard. So I went to the hardest kid of the year and said, what do you do, lads? And then,
it's a great story, that, as I say, I just thought you wrestled and like you come up that way. Nah. That's great. That.
It's like unintentional. We did, obviously, then me and Colin ended up wrestling, doing all like the British juniors, blah, whatever.
Singlets on and that.
Yeah, but obviously, I probably still got me singlet somewhere. But that was it. I always wanted to do MMA. And then even when I was wrestling, I was watching all the UFCs and stuff then. Yeah. So I was like a fan of the sport. But I didn't know where to train. Do you know what I mean? If it wasn't for Cullen, I wouldn't have known about Next Gen. We actually went, believe it or not, before Next Gen, we trained in the Rotunda, lads. We trained in Sefton ABC. We done like a little
tour.
Like, we need to do boxing here, we do wrestling here, like, we're trying to piece it together. Yeah. And then Cullen was like, lad, there's an MMA gym, like, down the road, do you know what I mean? Let's go to Next Gen. And then, like I said, I didn't have a clue, but I'm very grateful that Cullen picked Next Gen.
Yeah, nice. I only come to Next Gen because of word of mouth as well, lad.
Yeah.
Like my mate at the time when I was younger, Jay Campbell, his sister is now married to Joe Neal. No, Joe Neal at PT, and he trained out of our gym.
That's the fellow's got the lab, is it?
Yeah, Joe's got the lab, and he trained out of Next Gen. And obviously Jay said, my brother's, hell, my sister's fella goes
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
like, and he said, like, come. And I went to Next Gen because of Joe. You know what I mean?
Mad. And he used to fight, didn't he?
Yeah, he used to
had
fight.
fights,
Yeah, he was pro in that, Joe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he had a few pro fights.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was good. Joe was on bantamweight. He was only little, weren't he?
Belter. So you were, when did you start Next Gen? You were 15?
15.
Yeah.
20th of January 2010.
Yeah.
I only know that day because I got my new minutes on my phone that day.
You knew what? You knew minutes? Oh, really?
Yeah. When you used to have
Yeah.
Never used to be unlimited, did it?
No.
Like I used to,
like,
get
a certain amount.
Yeah, like 300 minutes and like 700 texts or something, know what I mean? And I got my new minutes that day. I'll never forget it.
Texting everyone about Next
Yeah,
Gen.
I was ringing. I remember ringing Paul when I was stood outside Chicken Bazooka going, I can't see the 051 building. Where's the 051? Looking around, and then he was like, look up. Oh, yeah.
Was he stood in the window waving out?
Wasn't even stood in the window, but I just looked up and seen the big massive 051. So I was like, oh yeah, sound, come on, be up now. But I just felt a cunt.
And I never trained in that building, did I? So I wouldn't know what.
I know, it's mad. That's
that
like, I remember that as like the proper OG gym, not like
the red mats.
The red mats.
I remember watching like a little mini documentary on YouTube when I first moved to the gym. You know, just trying to like see everyone on it. And it was like all in there in the 051, but I was the blue mat slab.
Yeah, in Kempston Street. Yeah.
Over the road.
The black ones downstairs and the blue ones upstairs.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, but that was only small though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like
compared to what we've got
now. And now that's too small.
Yeah,
so
literally
I found somewhere else.
Especially the night classes as well.
Yeah.
Chocolate, the jits.
Absolutely rammed. So what, obviously you had your first MMA fight out of Next Gen then?
Yeah. So I'd just done wrestling until then. And then when I joined Next Gen, I think I was 17, about to turn 18. Or we actually came over that Christmas break. But when we rang Paul, he was like, the gym's closed, mate. It's Christmas. Do you know what I mean? So we got the train back to Southport and then we come again in January. And I think Cullen, at that point, I was still a kid, do you know what I mean? So I wasn't really taking me training serious. I didn't know if it was like, in my head, I was like dreamt of being a fighter.
That's mad that you say as well, because Cullen's younger than us, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He actually is, yeah. He's same school year as me, but he's like 6 months younger than me.
Yeah.
But he was more obviously determined at that point than I was, because he started coming in, and I think he was like even training in the mornings by the time I'd properly started coming to the night classes. Yeah. Because I had like, I remember I was in my last year of college when I moved to Next Gen, or when I came to Next Gen. And so I came, done a few night classes, but like we were coming in the Christmas, so then it wasn't until like the summer when I properly started training. Yeah. And then I fought in like the September after that. Rim got me a fight pretty quick.
Nice.
Yeah. So my first fight when I was 18.
Yeah, you had the wrestling base already, didn't you? And that's like, I think it's the main thing. Like,
Defo, the base, and then I took to the grappling quick. Like, probably because of the wrestling, to be fair, all I'd done. Yeah. But I just like can't say the same about the striking. It took me a long time to start, and I'm still trying
Meet your mate, lad. Meet your mate.
Still trying to piece that together.
Still working on that myself, lad. It's hard work, but I felt exactly the same, lad. I just took to the grappling. Yeah. And I was a proper kid, but I just took to it, lad. And felt good when I was doing it.
Yeah. People go, it's one or two ways.
Yeah, one or two.
You either take to the striking.
Look at Luke. Exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Luke.
He's actually taken to the grappling now.
Yeah, he's taken to the grappling. Nice shot to take down on me today, lad.
Yeah. He's a wrestler now, lad.
He can be, lad. Know what I mean? People aren't going to be ready when he starts taking heads off in the UFC. Like.
No, defo.
But obviously, what did your amateur record end up being?
So I was 6-1 as an amateur. I had, I went 2-0 on like smaller shows like FCC and ICE, I think it was, the ones I fought on. And then my third amateur fight was Cage Warriors Academy, and that was actually on one of your undercards in the Echo. Yeah, so my third amateur fight, obviously it was still pretty empty when I was fighting because it was like 4 in the afternoon.
No, but it was still a big
arena, lad, do you know what I mean? And you were headlining it, and it was, that was mad. But that was good for me, I think, because early on, literally my third fight, lad, I was still, I knew at that point I wanted to do it for a job, but I was still so far away from.
But then when you get that feeling walking out in a crowd like that, it's like, wow, I do want to do this.
Literally, I knew from that point, and then winning. And like all my mates came, I'd done quite a lot of tickets for that. I'd done like 100 tickets or something for me third amateur fight. And I just felt like proper high that I've never felt before. And I was like, I want to do this for the rest of my life, defo. So that was good, getting that exposure early on. And then obviously the rest of my career was Cage Warriors. All my amateur fights were Cage Warriors, and then turned pro with Cage Warriors. So 6-1. The one loss I had was, I think you and me.
I was, lad. Yeah. That's the one fight I'll never forget, lad. That was
terrible.
It still hurts now, lad.
I know.
The fact I was in your corner still hurts, lad.
I was piecing him up.
He'd won 4.5 rounds, maybe.
Yeah, literally.
Literally 4.5 rounds. And the kid could hardly walk. He'd calf kicked him up, hadn't you?
Yeah.
And was lighting him up with shots, and then just one of them, lad. just like an husband.
Yeah,
Know
literally.
what I mean?
Yeah, just got.
But
caught
is
in the
actually meant a lot more. Know what I mean?
Yeah,
This is in a UFC world title fight. That was just an amateur title.
At the
Really.
time, like I felt like, oh,
Yeah,
I've
at
lost
the
my
time,
belt.
that's what it feels like.
But
Obviously, it made you better. And as
definitely.
I always said to you after, I wish I would have lost when I was an amateur.
Yeah.
Because it just losing like to fire under your ass that you've never.
You don't realise.
Yeah, you don't realise
that
that you're gonna get until you're actually losing. You're like, what? What's just happened there?
Yeah. You were like 9-0 as an amateur.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you literally ran through everyone.
Yeah. But I had that feeling that you said there. I had that feeling that after my first fight.
After your first amateur fight.
Yeah, I just knew I wanted to do it, lad.
Yeah.
As soon as me, and as you said there, you done some tickets for that fight, lad. Oh, we were still in year 11. It was in March of year 11.
That's
mad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'd just been given extended study leave the week before, like, but I was jogging the mornings and like stopping outside the school and selling tickets to me mates.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I bet you were
So
the boy in school.
I ended up
fighting
selling a load of tickets, lad, because of it. So loads of the lads from the gym come, and then loads of me mates and then my family and that. I ended up doing about 50 tickets of that or something. And I fought a 24-year-old, didn't I? Just grapple fucked him.
When you were 16?
Yeah, just grapple fucked him, no, lad.
Mad,
like, saying this yesterday to someone in the gym. Our amateur lad, it was Norma was saying it too, was saying, lad, you've got good enough jits to do an MMA fight. You know what I mean? I was like, lad, that amateur, all I had was overhand, takedown. And that, I'd sit on top of you and punch you or take you back and choke you. You know what I mean? Or go for a sub.
That's all you needed, lad.
That was it. They're only 3-minute rounds.
No. Lad, overhand into a takedown was what won me in my last UFC fight.
Yeah,
the fucking first one.
Overhand into a takedown will forever be a technique you can go back to.
Yeah. That's mad. So you were 16 and you fought a 24-year-old kid in your first fight. Bet he was gutted getting battered by a 16-year-old.
But know what? He'd already beat someone from our gym. He'd already beat Matty from our gym a few months earlier, who was a year older than me. He was 17.
Right, okay.
But
so you're just trying to fight all kids when you're 24?
No, this fella still competes now. Kieran O'Brien, his name is. He's in one of Jack's divisions next week.
In jits?
In jits.
Is he? Yeah.
Yeah, like under 68.
So he's still trying to beat up kids then?
Well, he's not beating up kids, is he? He's just in that division. You know what I mean? If that's your size, lad, that's your size, isn't it? Yeah, and as I say, back then, I was a bantamweight, Matty was a bantamweight, Aaron was a bantamweight, Joe Neal was a bantamweight. We had loads of bantamweights, lad.
Right. Did you all fight the same people then, pretty much?
Like, if some of that we done stuff like that, end up fighting the same person that the other had fought, because there was that many of us, lad.
Yeah.
Like, there was no such thing as flyweight then.
Oh, really? Yeah.
There was no one fought a flyweight.
So bantam was the lowest weight
bantam
division?
was the lowest weight you could do.
Mad.
And like some of them were cutting weight. I was only a kid, so I weren't.
Yeah.
And like that fight I took on a week's notice.
You were just walking around 61?
Yeah, I was just walking around. I was walking around at like 62 with a half K or something.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So just don't have breakfast or something?
Yeah, that's what it was. I was just like doing little runs that I didn't even need to do. Like literally all I had to do was not eat for 24 hours and I would have made weight.
It's mad, isn't it, when like what we know now, weight
and you look back.
Ah, lads. I was cutting weight for bantamweight since I was like 8. My first fight, I was 18 and I cut weight and I was literally like 62, 63 kilos walking around. And like I'm doing baths and that, but I didn't need to. If I'd have known how to properly like structure, like a fight camp.
I was saying this the other day with Rimmer. I was like, the weight cuts we used to do before Paul Reed. Like my weight cuts I used to do to make bantam. I mean to make feather. Like I have killed myself towards the back end of making bantam, but not unlike what I've done to try and stay a feather. No, because obviously the belt and that. Obviously you want to stay at the weight. Lad, them last few fights to make featherweights, I absolutely killed myself, lad.
Yeah, I remember. I was in the gym at that time then when you were defending those Cage Warriors titles and like still making feather.
Yeah.
And like looking at you now, lad, it's insane to think you've ever made that.
It is. But lad, I look back at my body then and think, wow, what a baby.
Yeah, it is different, yeah.
I just can't thank Paul Reed enough, lad.
Yeah.
Without him, I'd probably still look like a child.
Yeah, it's true.
I only started lifting, lad, in like 2019.
So how old were you then? Like 25, something, 20?
No, like 22 or something, yeah.
Was it,
It's right there, what am I now, 29? No, yeah, like 24.
Yeah.
24.
Because you filled out quite well. I don't know what is late. I'm 26. I think I'm probably still going to get bigger, obviously.
You're going to.
But like you've especially coming towards the end of your 20s.
Well, lad, as I always say to people, I never had a pube until I was like 13, 14.
Proper late developer.
Yeah, I was always the littler one. You know what I mean? Never had a pube till I was about 13, 14. So I know that I'm going to be a late developer in life. Like,
it's better though because your career can go on longer.
Yeah, it can, like, but at the same time, I can't be arse fighting after I'm 35, 36.
Yeah, that's a good cap anyway. That's like a nice amount of time.
When you see people fighting at like 44 and all, it's like, lad, come on.
Yeah.
I don't want to be taking punches to the other 44. Unnecessary punches anyway.
No, definitely not. The game plan is to get in and make your dough by
Get
then,
out, yeah. So, you know.
Achieve. If you've not achieved, I think, if you're not like world champ by 35, obviously, Bisbee, he was late on when he, but the
Robbie
heavier
Lawler
weights,
and that.
the heavier weights can do it a bit
The
later.
heavier weights can do it, yeah.
But for us, like if you've not done it by the time you're like 35, chances are you're probably not going to do
lightweight
it.
and under is different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's that many people as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And there's always new guys coming
Yeah, there's
through
always
then.
new guys coming through. Like Welter's half like that now. It's a bit stale, innit?
Yeah.
Welter's, there's no one really coming through.
Yeah.
Shafkat, but
yeah.
he's not even coming through anymore. He's
No,
fighting for the
been
belt.
there, yeah.
Who else is the lad at welterweight coming up?
I like that Aussie kid, Jack Della or something. You know,
Jack, Dalla. I know he don't want to beat Gilbert.
Want to be Gilbert.
Yeah, he's good.
pretty good.
Yeah, he is. He's good. And then, like, you look at middleweight, that's half the same. The only one I think who's on, like, the up on middleweight, like that Fluffy Hernandez.
Yeah.
And then Iv Chimaev beats Whittaker.
Yeah.
But
Big if.
I just can't see Chimaev beating Whittaker, lad.
No. Is it a 5-round fight?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a 5-round fight. I think Usman would have beat him if that was a 5-round fight.
I think it
And
was.
Usman took that on a week's notice or something.
Yeah. And obviously, you see Rob's fights against Yoel Romero. Obviously, I know he was saying that on the countdown, what I seen, it's not the same like Brunson.
No, MMA match doesn't work.
No,
but
he's got naughty takedown
yeah,
defense.
he's got heavy takedown defense.
Yeah.
An Olympic wrestler was trying to take him down for 10 rounds,
Yeah.
2 fights,
Literally.
and hardly got him down.
Yeah, and even that Jacare Souza, he stopped him, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he's a black belt.
Yeah.
Good grappling, good wrestling.
Won all the like the Mundials and all the ADCCs and all
Exactly. I reckon if Kamzat does come out a million miles an hour every fight anyway, doesn't he?
Yeah,
But
so
5-round fights, you can't.
he's not
fight
going
like
to be
that.
able to, no.
Yeah. So it's going to be
Like
interesting.
I thought that he'd be able to in his last fight because it was his first fight at middleweight. I was thinking, yeah, when I moved up to lightweight, lad, I weren't doing no big cut. I was like, yeah, this is sound.
You got the gas tank.
Yeah,
to go
you've got
then.
the gas tank to go. So I thought he'd end up when he won the first round like that. I was like, yeah. Now I thought that fight was a draw. I thought Usman won the second and third, and first round 10-8 Kamzat because he took his back and controlled him and just didn't let him do anything. You know what I mean? But the next 2 rounds, I thought Usman outstruck him.
Yeah.
And then Kamzat
not much
didn't
happened
do
in the
nothing,
second and the third. Usman defo won. So it's like there's an argument there.
Yeah. So I thought that was a draw personally, but it's just how fights go nowadays, isn't it?
It's mad, innit? Because so many people, like obviously all the casuals, were saying like, Usman's finished after that, like writing him off.
Yeah.
And really, he's just arguably beat this Kamzat who's like
on a
rising
week's notice.
star. Yeah.
And
people say he's finished.
That's the only thing about our sport, lad. The fans are more fickle than footy fans.
Yeah.
Which is
Literally.
mad.
They can change on you.
They can change on you like that. Lad, after that Jared Gordon fight, I got proper switched up on like that.
Bad. Yeah, I remember. Even the last fight, you were getting a bit of stick before, and then right afterwards, everyone was back on after Bobby Green, loving you again. It's just mad.
It's mad it can flip either way. That's just, you've got to roll with it, lad. That's what I mean. That's what I do. I rolled with it because obviously, even before the Jared Gordon fight, I was the best thing since sliced bread. Know what I mean? And then that happened. Everyone turned. Even before the Bobby fight, people were still talking shit, and then now after it, everyone loves you again. Yeah, it's just how you are at the moment, lad. Like as everyone says, you're only as good as your last fight.
Defo. There's loads of recency bias in MMA. Like if you've not done anything recently, people just forget about it.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're, that's why I think as well.
That's why it's mad about John Jones, the way everyone's still backing him when he's got no recency bias at all, lad.
No, he's just like GOAT status.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's an absolute legend, lad. Can't. He's unbelievable.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on all that with him and Tom Aspinall? Like I know people are saying he should fight Tom, but I personally think like he's done everything.
Yeah, he's done it. He doesn't need to. He's done everything.
Yeah.
But it's the competitor in him, not if it's the fighter in him wants to do it.
Yeah.
So I got asked this question yesterday: who's the biggest test to Jones if he gets through Stipe, Pereira, Aspinall, or Ngannou? And said it's not, no disrespect to Pereira, but it's not Pereira.
No,
because he'll just come out and take him down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I couldn't pick out of Ngannou and Aspinall.
That would be interesting.
Because like one's like strength, power, and the other one's like technique and speed.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know what one
it's
John would be better.
If John could wrestle Ngannou, but then Ngannou's different from when Stipe wrestled him. You know what I mean? Like,
the second fight he tried to take him down, didn't he? And he got sprawled on.
And that was in the small cage as well, which is mad because I fought in that Apex cage and you fought in there as well. Yeah. It's tiny. It's like smaller, imagining 2 heavyweights in there, lad. That's a proper. I thought it was like even maybe smaller than the Cage Warriors cage. What I fought in Manchester.
It is, isn't it?
But yeah, I think it is. When they have in the BEC, the Cage Warriors cage, pretty big.
Yeah, and it's not small.
That Apex, when I got him, I was like, wow, this is a proper small cage, which obviously favoured me being a grappler. But to think that like Ngannou's fought Stipe, and there's mad lads. Like they must have taken like one step back and been on the fence, literally.
I know what you mean. The first time I got in that cage, that was the first like UFC cage I'd been in. You know what I mean? Like as a fighter, and like the one. Obviously, you walk in the one in the PI.
Yeah,
and that's big, innit? You know what I mean? You're like
the first ones.
Yeah, like that's big, and then you go into the Apex. You're like, what? I thought it'd be bigger than this.
Lad, it's proper small, innit? It's mad. For the UFC cage, you're expecting it to be bigger as well.
I've never fought in there since. You know what I mean? I just had, because it was still COVID. I mean, it's always the big one, yeah. I've always a big one, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Well, I think my next one will probably be in a big one anyway. If
it's not in the Apex, it definitely will be, because that's the only. I think that's the only place to use that. Lad.
I don't want to fight in the Apex.
Yeah,
like obviously it is what it is. I'll take any fight, but I'd rather get an arena feel. Yeah, it is.
Lad, the Apex cards are good for people who live in Vegas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And I mean fighters there as well.
Yeah.
All the fighters that train in Vegas and think you're in Vegas.
They can just get out every so often.
They can just, if you, like some people like being active, don't do like 4 or 5 fights a year. Yeah. If you live in Vegas, lad, and them Apex cards are on, flying.
Yeah.
Like, what's his face, who I proper like, Charles Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
He's a belter, lad. I've met him a few times. The flyweight.
I don't have him on to him. Is he the one who fought?
He won the other day. He beat that, what was his name? Sawajiri or something the other day.
I didn't watch. Is that the Hernandez card? That fluffy?
Yeah. As I say, I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
But I like Charles and I follow him, so I know that he won. You know what I mean?
Belter. I don't think I'm on to him.
He got beat by Makhachev.
Right. Okay. Has he got the little tuft there? I'm on to him. Yeah. Okay. Is he sounding?
Yeah, he's a belter. We were speaking with him. We've met him a few times. You know what I mean? He's boss lad, proper nice fella. And I seen he won the other day.
Nice.
You know what I mean? And he's active, lad. He fights like 4 or 5 times a year.
Yeah.
He's like floats around by the weight. He's proper active.
See, I'd like to be active like that, but also I wouldn't want to be fighting.
Exactly. If I say this, lad, if I was a welterweight, maybe, and I was closer to the weight, but lad, I'm thinking like, lad, when I fought 3 times in a year, my body's felt it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I fought years ago, when I was featherweight, lad, I made featherweight 4 times in a year, didn't I?
Yeah.
Well, no. 4 times in 13 months because I missed once. I fought, lad, in 2016, I fought in April, July, June, April, June, or late June, early July. I missed weight that time. Then I won the belt in September and defended in November.
Was that the one when you fought in the BT studio?
November?
Right, yeah.
And then the April again, I made weight and fought Nad when I lost the belt.
So 5 times in like this
5 times in a year. In like not even a year, I made featherweight.
I'm feather, lad, that's heavy, that.
And as I say, the first Ashley Grimshaw, I made it sound.
Yeah.
Then I come back off holiday, and then like that show got said, and I was like, yeah, go ahead, I'll fight on it. At the end of like, as I stood up out of bath, I collapsed, lad, and Elle caught me.
Yeah.
Fucking end up weighing in for that one. What was I? It was something cheeky, like 152 or something like that.
Was that in London?
Yeah.
And like, is that the one where you elbowed the kid and cut him?
Teddy Violet.
And you cut him at the end. Was that him?
No, that was an earlier fight. That was me featherweight debut.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I remember that one.
I choked him in the second, and then lad, me next fight, I was meant to fight at a catch weight. It was meant to be at 150.
Yeah.
And then Alex Enlin got signed, and the belt was vacant.
And he was the featherweight.
Yeah, the belt was vacant. So I moved into JP's for like 4 weeks before the fight, didn't I?
To make sure I can make feather.
Yeah. I can make feather. Made it, lad. Looked like a
What did
skeleton.
JP have you on, lad? All chicken.
Lad, he was getting me up in the morning and taking me on runs at like 5 and that, lad. It was rough.
Nightmare.
It was rough, lad. And then, I fought a Rosa.
Julian Rosa, lad. Yeah, and he's actually done well since you beat him.
Very well.
He's come back and he's had a few
lad, but that one I lost like 8.3 overnight.
That's insane.
And like and then the fight after that, Nad had done 7.8 overnight.
That's so much weight overnight, lads. I physically wouldn't be able to do that.
When they done that DEX scan and they read the results, like after I'd fought, they were like, how did he fight? Like that's not normal. No. How could he have even fought? That like, that's the fucking DEX of a dying man. Like,
bearing in mind, you'd have lost weight throughout the camp as well.
Yeah.
And then you're losing another 8.
Exactly, it's mad.
That's mad.
But I always say,
fair play to you, lad, for actually making weight there and not bitching out. Because I'd have been like, listen, I'm not doing this. It was one of them
in the Rosa one, lad. Adam said to Paul, never forget it, Adam, when I couldn't get up. I was just lying on the floor and I was getting pulled in and out the sauna. But I was like, put me back in, pull me out, know what I mean? And JP's sitting in the sauna with me. And Vince walked over to the rim and goes, listen, if he dies, it's not on me.
Yeah.
You know what I
Fuck
mean?
yeah, lad.
That's how fucking much Vince Ed was gone.
That's
Vince ended
mad.
up turning to me and he pulled out and was like, it's just a bit of gold. It's just a belt. Who's asked? Just let go of it.
It's not
Who
worth
cares?
dying over.
Yeah,
that.
that's basically what he was
Yeah.
saying.
You don't think though, do you? I mean, you might have done in that moment when you're half dead anyway, cutting weight, but it is so dangerous.
Yeah.
And you don't realise. In the time, you just like toughen it out. Got to make it's just something you got to do. Part
But
of the
obviously,
job.
but all them fights, I look like a bag of shit. Like if I wouldn't have beat Johnny Frazier in the first 2 minutes of the first round that night in the Echo,
Yeah.
I might have struggled with him.
Yeah.
That like I was just
Just because you cut that much weight. Yeah.
like them next 2 fights, lad. Though I had done 5-5s, 2 on the bounce. The last 2 rounds, I was like in slow motion.
You've done 5 rounders off that as well. That's mad. Off a heavyweight cut. That's actually nuts.
I look back at that Rosa fight now and just say, like, I look at him like, yeah, like the new scoring criteria.
Yeah.
He wins that fight.
Do you reckon? Yeah.
Yeah. I
haven't
won that.
watched it
I
back
won
in-
that. Look, even at the time, people thought that I lost the fight.
Yeah.
But where I was grappling heavy, that used to win your fights.
Yeah, you were
didn't it?
taking him down.
Yeah,
a lot,
I was just taking him down, landing ground and pound. Like I thought at the time I won the first 3
Yeah.
and then faded in the last 2, you know what I mean? Lost the
Yeah.
last 2. But now, lad, and if you watch it back now, lad, I'm sure he drops me in the second round and catches me with a flying knee or something in the third, and I'm thinking, what if this fight was now? I'd fucking definitely lose.
Yeah. Good job it went.
Good job it was
back
before the
then.
scoring system got changed,
Yeah.
lad. I swear, it really was.
It's interesting that because in the time I remember watching that fight at home. I watched it in my old house where I used to live. I had it on the telly in my room, and I was confident you'd won.
Yeah.
Going into the thing, but that's because back then that
Yeah,
would have been.
same. I was confident of the one.
Interesting watching it now,
It
like
would.
how they score it.
I know.
nowadays.
I've watched like clips of it and thought, what? Because like all the highlights are him hitting me. Basically.
Yeah, catch you with big shots.
Yeah,
lad.
most of the highlights are him hitting me or me slamming him with takedowns and stuff. But there's one where like a slam and he gets right back up and I'm just like, oh,
I was
like
done
what
that.
the fuck's how you just got back up there?
Yeah.
But as I say, I probably was saying that I underestimated him, but lad, I got the phone call for that like 4 weeks before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's short.
And I was,
notice.
and I was about 84 key or something. You know
To
what I
make
mean?
66.
Yeah.
That's mad.
Something like that, lad. I'll never forget that. Got
Bear
the
in
phone
mind,
call.
I've just fought 66 my last one, lad. It's nuts. That
Yeah.
I've never even been 80 key. You know what I mean? That's fucking insane. 84 key to 66.
And I was in some raving in the woods when I got that phone call
I
as
remember
well.
you saying,
Told that
yeah,
one, I
yeah.
was just like, what? I'm fighting in 4 weeks. You need to get me ass in the gym.
Did you finish partying though? Obviously, finish the party.
Oh yeah, I never went straight home.
Yeah.
Obviously, Jesus, lad, mad. You know. See, you're a good kid, lad. You never had any.
A good kid. I'm on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, that's
path,
what I mean. You're on the straight and narrow. You never had no dives off the straight and
Do
narrow
you know
like
what?
I did.
I actually have had the odd few. Like I used to. I've been to Ibiza a couple of times.
Yeah.
And had a little party with me mates.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was never like heavily into it because I think when I was like 18 was the age when all my mates started going to raves and that.
Yeah.
And proper partying, and that's when I found Next Gen. So then it was easy for me to stick to that because I just started becoming.
See, I
obsessed
found
with
next
fighting.
year when I was a little bit too young then.
Yeah.
I found it when I was 5th. I'll never forget, lad, the first V Festival all the lads went to. I never went. Eminem was on.
Yeah.
And I never went because I had a fight, lad. I had a fight like a few weeks later.
I mean, you gutted.
I was gutted, lad. And I
Yeah.
made sure the next year that I went to a few fezzies. And I did when I was 17. I went to it because I fought in like the June
Yeah.
and then fought in like December or something.
Yeah.
So I had the summer off basically, and
To
lad,
go
I
on
went
after
and done V
festival.
Festival.
Yeah.
What was that other one that me and Cooper went to? Global Gathering,
Okay, I've never heard of
Greenfields.
that,
Know what I
yeah.
mean? Went to a few different fezzies, and then we went to Ibiza and that when we was 18. And lad, it's the half. I took over my life for a bit. I wanted to be a
Yeah.
DJ and that. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what all my mates are doing now.
Yeah.
Actually, seen one of my mates yesterday, and we were talking about the first trip, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I put something in the group chat," and I was like, "What group chat's that?" He was like, "All the Ibiza lads from 2017." I was like, "I went on that holiday, lads. I'm not in the group chat." But where I stopped partying after
Yeah.
that, they've all, you know what I mean? They got a little chat without me. So I was
What
like,
was that?
"Oh."
Was that the year you were 18 then?
Yeah, 2017 had it been, or 2016, I think maybe I was 18.
It was 16.
Yeah.
It will have been because
I'm 98, aren't I?
I
Yeah,
went
so-
in 2013.
Wow.
That
that's
was
when you
our
were
18,
18,
yeah.
yeah.
We was all 18,
Yeah.
2013.
So I'd have been 19 when I went to Ibiza for the first time. Yeah. I had to go, lads. Do you know what I mean? But like I said, I actually remember. So it was, I went to V Festival when I finished Birkdale Secondary School, and then when we finished college, everyone went to Leeds Festival,
Yeah.
like Leeds and Reading, and I never went. And one of my mates, but it's the same kid I saw yesterday, actually, his name's Seb. So if he's watching this, shout out to Seb. But he belled me because they'd come in the gym and film something. It was either LFC TV or like something like that, with doing something on you.
Yeah.
And I was grappling with you in the background. I wasn't even on it, but I was just like trying to, doing like a little drill with you. And then Seb rang me, lads, obviously off his bar. Lad, I'm so proud of you. You're with Paddy on this thing, blah, de blah. But I was just like, yeah, thank you, lad, thank you. I was getting ready for like I think it might have been the Echo fight. Yeah. I fought the third one. But I remember that, lad. He phoned me, like, loving it. Sick. I think it was LFC TV or something like that.
Probably was something like that, because we're just used to cameras being in the gym now, aren't we, lad? It's just normal.
Years, it's the norm now,
yeah, it's just normal now.
Yeah.
Just a camera in the gym.
It helps all of us, though, coming through, getting ready for it all, do you know what I mean?
No, it
because,
does.
like, that was my first UFC fight just gone. And then, obviously, all the other boys, Luke, Gittins, Cullen, they're all probably
getting ready to
all
get
right
in the UFC.
there. So, but we're all so used to this now, having the cameras because of you. And Molly, they've been following yous for the last few years. So it's like, now it's all, when it all comes on to us, it'd be more natural than just the first time. You'd be like,
you're not wrong there, like
flapping, you know what I mean? So
defo be easier.
Yeah.
So obviously, you spoke while you're amateur, you went pro.
Yeah.
Every one of your fights was on Cage Warriors, isn't it? Every pro fight on Cage Warriors.
Yeah, turned pro on Cage Warriors. So I fought Rico Biggs was my first one. That was 2019 I turned pro. So I just turned 21.
Yeah.
And I fought Rico Biggs. That year I had 2 fights, Rico Biggs and Kieran Mulholland. So that was in Ireland, I fought on that card. And then the year after was COVID. So I fought in the March, I fought that Sagas kid. Do you remember
the one that's got the egg kick on, that kid that's dancing?
Yeah, lad, he's got the
we'll
viral
have to see if we
video.
can get that, put it on a clip.
Yeah.
So that viral knockout where the kid's like moonwalking and that, and he's taking the piss.
Like jabbing him and
but
then
he's
dancing.
beating him up for 2 rounds, isn't he? And then he just does that in the 3rd round and gets kicked in the face and knocked out.
People have made all memes with like flying into space off it, lad. Sick
that, you know.
So
he deserved it though, but anyway. Yeah. You beat the kid who knocked him out.
Who done that, yeah. Beat him. What I found out about him as well, actually, since me, he fought that Taporia's brother. No, that he's got his brother who's in the UFC now, so he beat him as well. I think I might have stopped him quicker than Taporia's brother stops him, to be honest.
Yeah, so. Taporia's brother's a sausage, lad.
Well, there you go, lad, yeah.
He was stood there when it went off, and I was on my own, and there was like 16 of them.
Yeah.
And I was on, and he didn't do fuck all.
Did he not?
Know what I mean?
No.
Bounced the hand sanitizer off his brother's head, lad.
Remember, lad.
Stood there, the little fart.
There's like 16 of them there.
Yeah, that was about at least 12 of them. And I was stood there with Neve, this Irish bird who like looks after you for the UFC, you know what I mean? I was stood with Neve. I just put scrambled egg in the microwave.
You can see it on the video though. You're just behind the thing on your own, aren't you?
I'd literally just warm food up behind it. And he's just come out of an interview with Major Cats, and I'm just like, oh. Literally, I'm gutted Ellis went there because he would have knocked about 3 people out.
Ellis would have just
He would have. Just started knocking people out left, right and centre.
It's good for that Ellis, like, he didn't take no shit, lads. He just started throwing down right away. But yeah.
So what's that, your 3-0
That was me 3-0. And then all the COVID stuff happened, so it was like lockdown. And then I fought on, my 4th fight was Lee Mitchell, which was a lockdown show.
Yeah.
Vent had his last fight on that, I think, as well. Vent was on it. And I think it might have just been me and Vent. And then
the next one,
5-0 was your last Cage Warriors fight, yeah.
Should have seen this fella in the back after it.
Bad on it. Bad.
He fought, lad. And then I was warming up for my fight, and Nathan's just in the corner like this.
Shit.
Looked like you were coming off the Bobby, lad.
Lad, it was bad, you know.
And I'm like, what? Is he all right? Like, you started vomiting and that, didn't you?
Yeah, bad. I remember thinking, you've got a fight, lad. It's all right. Just leave me.
Yeah. I'm like, lad, are you okay? You ended up fucking falling the kip and that, didn't you?
Yeah, fella. It was
the warm-up room for a fight. Everyone's smashing pads. Know what I mean? Everyone's like that, whacking pads. Nathan just in the corner like that, a kip. Like, oh my God. He was white as a ghost as well.
Yeah, that wasn't good, lad. So, story behind that was I fought Martin Yoni, who, and obviously tough opponent at the end of
very good opponent. Yeah,
champ, do you know what I mean?
The belt.
He's a good fighter, and we went 3 rounds. I stopped him in the 3rd with a re-naked.
Re-naked show.
But before that, I'd been ill all day. I think I basically got food poisoning or something went wrong with me. Refeed after the weight cut, but I think
it's easy to happen after you cut weight.
Definitely, yeah.
Easy.
That was the only time I've ever had anything like that, but it was bad. I remember because I used to share the hotel room with Gittins, and I was getting up early. I was trying not to wake him up because he was fighting as well, and just like shitting everywhere on the bog, lad. It was like water coming out my ass.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It wasn't good.
Pissing out your ass.
Yeah, it's pissing out my ass. Yeah. So ill all day. Tried to just like blend it as you do. I was thinking in my head, you're all right, you sound,
Yeah.
just get through it, do you know what I mean? I knew obviously I was still going to fight, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was just trying to put it off, but then I couldn't eat all day. So I was eating like, I was getting Cocoa Pops and just not even having them with milk and just having like dry Cocoa Pops. That's the only thing I could eat and not
Spew it back up.
or
Yeah.
shit afterwards. If I had like a bit of yogurt or porridge or anything or eggs, anything like that, lads, it was just coming out of me right away. So I like to have known what I actually weighed when I got in the cage. It probably wasn't much more than 61.
60,
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't put much on. And like, I'm quite a pale kid anyway, lads. So getting in the cage, I must have looked white. You know what I mean? Just.
And the man, you know, he's got a bit of a tan, so he looked even whiter.
I know, lads. I hope I was Polish for that fight, I reckon, because I had like a skinhead and I had like the white pitbull shorts on as well. I got the pitbull fight kit. Just they're all pale, lads, but looking all Eastern European. Like Natan, as Chris calls me, lads, when I get the skinheads. Natan.
You won though, lad. That was the main thing.
It.
And you got the finish as well.
Yeah.
And just win, you got the finish.
That was a big one for me because he just beat Wesley Meyer, who was also like known around Cage Warriors. I mean, so like for me, that was the next like step up in fight, and then to beat him, being dead ill, like knowing I was nowhere near like 100%, but still to beat him, that was like a big. That was probably in my pro career the point where I knew like, okay, I always knew I was legit anyway because I just tell me, even when you're not, I tell myself.
Yeah, you tell yourself standard.
Yeah. But like that fight really cemented for me. I was like, okay, I'm fucking good, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, especially when you're going into a fight sick as well, lad. I can't
Definitely.
never forget years ago when I fought Nad, gastroenteritis, lad. I think we got a bit of food poisoning.
Yeah.
Me, Ellis, and someone else, lad, were all sick. And lad, I remember burping in the back, lad, and someone going, lad, you just farted?
Yeah.
That's eggy, that.
That's the worst things, the burps, lad, 'cause you can taste the sick
You can
and then
taste it,
oh,
lad.
I've just had a flashback then of that time because that's what it is. It's the burps.
It's
that get
disgusting, lad. The
Yeah.
burps. You're like, oh my God, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But like, I'll never forget, even like 2 days after the fight when I still had it, being in my bedroom with my Mars, lad, because I was only 22, burping, like my mum and my bird are like, oh my God, what's that? Is that your burp?
Yeah.
Is that? And I'm like,
lingers
oh my
in
God,
the
lad,
air.
I'm having to walk out the room to burp and that and go and burp in the bathroom, lad.
Yeah.
Because it smells
That's
like
how
a
bad it
proper
was.
eggy fart.
That's horrible. But that's
is.
reminded me of what it was like then. The burps are the worst, lads. That was one thing. It was knocking me sick. I'd warming up hitting pads with Elle, and then I'd be like, I might have to move my face away from him. Sorry, lads. You know, blow it away
lad.
and then keep warming up.
Dirty. It is proper dirty.
Yeah. So that wasn't good, but it was good because then got the win.
No, it showed you can grit through and win. You know what I mean? Some people haven't got that, lad.
Yeah,
Some
definitely.
people in that position would be like, oh, I can't fight. And they pull out. We've
Yeah.
seen it several times before with
Yeah,
people, lad.
definitely. Yeah.
But you didn't. You were like, oh, yeah, I might be sick, but yeah, let's go.
Yeah. I'd literally watched. Have you seen Michael Jordan's documentary?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd watched that like in the lead up to. I used to watch that all the time.
Lad, no, I was just about to say, I've watched The Last Dance in the build up to like 3 fights or something.
It's
way
good for the
before.
mentality in it.
I never for the last one, but I reckon the 3 fights before then I watched The Last Dance in the build up to.
It's an easy watch and it's just like he's the boy.
Yeah, he
Do you know
is.
what I
He's the
mean?
man,
So it
Michael
just
Jordan,
gets you
like.
like, yeah, I'm Michael Jordan. I'm gonna do it. But I remember ringing Cullen because he wasn't fighting on it, and I was like telling him like, yeah, he was like, asking how I was. I was like, I'm not gonna lie, lads, I'm not the best. Like, been sick all morning and shitting myself and that. And then I was like, but there's an episode on The Last Dance where he gets food poisoning.
Yeah.
And then he's like sat there with the towel and some of the things, and he comes on
And
like,
just
scores loads of shots.
As a heavy game.
So I was like, it's all right, I'm Michael Jordan. I'm going to get it done. And I did. So good.
What was that to go 4 or 5?
That was 5-0.
5-0.
Yeah. So then I had Brian Boulon.
Oh, yeah, he got choked out fast, didn't he?
So then that was me 6-0.
Was that a standing one?
Standard ring.
Yeah, it was, when I can remember that.
Yeah. And that was a heavy shot, actually, because he stood up. So I was like controlling his, I think I had a seatbelt. I started controlling his wrist, trying to go one under. And then I like looked over the other side of him.
Yeah, so with an elbow.
With an elbow,
Yeah.
yeah. And then as he fell, I locked up the choke. And then that's what got me the title shot then.
Yeah.
So the last time we done this, I'd just beat Booland and I was going in to fight Wooden, lads. We done a
Was
chat
it?
and pony, yeah, before I fought for the title.
Was that when there was a few of us doing it?
No, that was just me and you. We done one
Was
just
it, yeah?
before, yeah, in the other place, like the other studio.
Yeah.
But we done one just before that, and then that was me first pro loss, lad. Was that title fight? So that took me to 6-1. Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy. That a lot's happened since the last time we done one.
Yeah,
of these,
there has. A lot's happened.
yeah.
We'll have to dive into it then, obviously. Fucking hell, you lost your first ever fight, and one of them, lad, you were winning. You know what I mean? You were winning every second up until the point where he landed the big shot on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that can happen to anyone in any fight.
Yeah, definitely. That was obviously bound to happen at some point. I feel like every fighter you have to lose and come back to prove to yourself as well that you are. Because if you're just battering everyone all the time, you don't really have to find that dig inside.
No,
you,
yeah,
do you know
don't.
What I mean?
You don't have to
but
dig
like,
deep.
Coming off a loss, you said it before, it lights like a fire under you. But I think it can go one or two ways. People can like lose the confidence then, because when you're undefeated and you're just steamrolling everyone, you do get that sort of invincibility feeling where you're like, no one's beating me. And then when it happens, you have to like actually look at yourself and be like, okay, where's the holes in my game?
Where do I
I've
need
just
to get
been
better?
beat. Like it has just happened. So that was tough for me, defo, being undefeated as a pro. And then the Cage Warriors title. And I was thinking, like, you just got signed to the UFC. So I was thinking, and in my head, you and Molly were like just taking off at the start. And I was like, right, I'm going to win this belt. And then I'm joining them. I'm going to be in the UF. And then, to be honest, if that had happened, I don't know if I'd still be in the UFC now.
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of holes in my game that I hadn't recognised needed fixing. And then even just maturing, like I was 23 then, I'm 26 now, where I've just got signed. And it's in those 3 years, from the loss, from the couple of injuries I've had, like the opponents pulling out, all the like the adversity I've had, that's set me up now to where I definitely feel a lot more ready to deal with like a UFC career than if I was 23 and just got in. I reckon it might have gone to my head. And I probably, if you lose as soon as you get in the UFC, it's like, right, you're on a fast track to get better now because your next opponent's going to be like world class as well. Whereas like I've had the time over these 3 years to mature, get better, practice where I need to, and like get my head right to now go and smash everyone in the UFC. So be sound.
I always look back and think the same. Obviously, I could have accepted that first offer when I was 21, but I just look back and think now, lad, if I would have done that, lad, I reckon I'd be in an early grave.
Really?
Yeah. Just because of how I went off the rails when I was 21, when I won the belt.
Yeah.
And thought I was the best thing in the world.
You know what I mean?
I thought I was great. You know what I mean? I thought my shit didn't stink.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you think if you'd have got signed at that time and blown up like you have done now, you wouldn't have been able to deal with it?
I wouldn't have been able to deal with it.
No.
I had to go through that little phase when I was 21, hanging around with a few idiots and doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
To realise now that I've done that stupid shit in the past, I don't need to do it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where if I would have just gone in the UFC straight away, lad, and then won a fight or two and blew up like that, it would have been like,
missed a big time.
Yeah.
Just flown it all away, probably.
Drank myself into an early grave, probably.
Yeah. Well, it's the same as, like, that's just adversity you've had to go through there to mature and realise. And then now, look how you've dealt with it. And, like, you're in the position you are because of learning that at that age, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I like to think that that's going to be the same for me. Like, I could have won that fight against Wooden. I'd have been 7-0. I know Ian Gary just got signed at the time. Because my career on Cage Warriors was similar time to his.
Yeah.
And that's why I was always thinking, like, he got signed 7-0. I was like, I'm going to beat Wooden and then I'll get signed 7-0.
Yeah.
And but I wasn't ready for it. Do you know what I mean? I've had to do a lot of growing up from 23 to now. And like now I feel like, obviously, we'll find out because I'm here now. So, like, you know what I mean?
You ended up winning finishing another two on
Cage
Warriors,
yeah.
didn't you?
I did.
You beat
decisioned one.
Decision, that Gio.
Yeah. And
but another good opponent.
Lads, so I'll speak on that quickly. I thought, after that fight, I was disappointed. I actually phoned you, I think, afterwards. I'm sure you were at Ronnie O'Sullivan's party or something.
Yeah, on New Year's. Yeah, it was New Year's Eve.
I was FaceTiming you afterwards and I was like, wasn't very happy with my performance. You know what I mean? But I thought I made hard work of him. But then looking he's just beat Martin Yoni.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So he's got, and he battered that, some other kid, I can't remember his name.
No,
now,
he proper battered him.
Yeah, and stopped him. And he's had a few wins on Cage Warriors, that kid. Sam Kelly it is.
Yeah.
So like he was winning a few fights on Cage Warriors. And so looking at it now,
that wins aged well.
Yeah. So I'm happy with that.
And then didn't you beat someone else who was unbeaten after that?
Yeah, and then I beat that Dan Dice, who was known for triangling people, and then I triangled him. Yeah.
But what was he unbeaten him?
I think he was 8-1.
8-1.
Yeah.
Because lads, I can remember us doing the combined record of your opponents, and it was something daft.
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like if you combine the records of my opponents, that's where I went pro. Then in like 2012.
The early days.
My first fight was against someone who was like 4-22.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that just ruins the record straight away.
That's all you can get in those days though, innit?
Yeah.
So you take what you can get.
Your combined record of your first like 9 opponents was something like fucking 58-6 or something mad like that. I can't remember what it was. Some wizard will get it up though, won't you? Someone in the comments will probably get Nathan's record up and add that all up.
There's that British MMA scene or something on Instagram. He done a post saying when I got signed to the UFC, Nathan Fletcher 9-1. Combined record. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah,
but it was
your
like,
combined opponents record's great though.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, definitely. That's down to just, like I said, to turn pro with Cage Warriors, had all my fights with them. So, and every time I feel like I got the right step up, like from Lee Mitchell to then Martin Yoni to Boolan, who was like a bit of a vet, you know what I mean? And then obviously the Wooden fight didn't go my way, but then that Giordano, another prospect, I think he was like 6-1 when I fought him. Dan Dice was 8-1 when I fought him. So it does look good now.
Yeah,
like
it does.
definitely. I haven't fought any crabs really.
But then
so.
obviously you ended up doing the Ultimate Fighter, didn't you?
Yeah.
Which is something
a
that
whole other story. Lad.
Yeah, the whole other that was something that when I was younger, lad, I loved. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like season 10 of the Ultimate Fighter was the first one that I watched I watched it each week. Rampage Rashad.
Yeah.
Know what I mean? Because Rampage is my favourite fighter at the time. And lad, now it's just mad.
Yeah. It's not the same show that it used to be.
No, it's not the same show it used to be, definitely not.
It's to be honest with you, like the Ultimate Fighter wasn't something I was massively into. Like I watched the UFC, I watched clips of it on YouTube. Like, I remember seeing Teal being like, I can't let you get close.
Yeah,
double legging Vanderlei.
Yeah.
And I've seen I watched when McGregor done it the first time against Faber.
See, I'd stopped watching it by then.
Okay, yeah. That was sort of like the first one I properly watched.
Yeah.
But I've gone back and watched clips of it and stuff.
The first ones are the best, lad. The first few, because they're all just mad in the house, just nutters doing all madness.
But it's literally not even like that now. That's what I was half expecting. Is it going to be full of load of like mad Yanks just drinking? There was one kid in there who was on the booze, like Cooper. Beach sound, to be fair. But other than that, everyone was like straight and narrow. Like everyone was in bed by 10. We were all like stretching of a night and like people doing breath work and like recovery. Like it was so tame compared to what I expected from seeing the older stuff. Yeah, it was a weird experience, lad. But again, I suppose it's like when I come to the end of my career, it'll always be something like I got signed through. Obviously, I didn't win the Ultimate Fighter, but I won on the finals, and that's how I've got in the UFC. So it's still, I'll probably look back.
Yeah, but you've done it at the weight above as well. That's something you didn't mention then.
Definitely.
You've done it at the weight above what you normally fight at.
Yeah.
And you only walk around about a stone heavier than that, which is nothing.
Yeah, if that, lad,
I lose a stone overnight.
Yeah. Yeah, literally.
I mean?
I'm like a good sized bantamweight, not huge bantamweight, and I did it at featherweight. Yeah, and I was definitely like one of the smallest.
Yeah,
kids,
you're a small feather if you're fighting a feather.
Yeah,
lad.
yeah. I'm not a featherweight to be honest. Like, the fact it shows because with my debut, it got pulled, didn't it? So I had to fight 2 weeks later.
Oh yeah,
so
you need to go full in on that story. Lad. That was what we were going to get to next. Obviously, on the show you broke your leg though, didn't you?
Yeah.
In your fight.
Yeah.
So see, there's so many layers to this fella, you know. So many layers to the Fletcher fella. Like you don't even understand.
Lad, it's gonna make a good book when I'm all done. Know what I mean? That's what I always say. Like the adversity is lad. I'm actually proud of myself now because there's been a lot of points where obviously everyone goes through it, and I've seen you in your career. You've had many points where you've had injuries and setbacks and adversity, and you've come through it. And look where you are now. And like that's inspired me definitely, lad. To say, to be honest, and like my short window there from losing to Wooding to then the Ultimate Fighter and everything, I've had injuries, opponents pulled out, blah de blah. But anyway, I'm rambling here. So on tough, I broke my leg.
Yeah.
So I basically think I went into the show with a bit of an injury. I had like a stress fracture.
I can remember before that. Remember when you were sparring with Luke?
That was what it was. Yeah,
defo.
Yeah. So that was about 5 months before the actual show because I was supposed to fight on Cage Warriors in the September, and then I had to pull out because I was sparring with Luke, got kicked in the leg. I carried on sparring, but I was like, knew something.
No, I can remember that you carried on sparring, carried on training. But then Paul was like, if it's a bit weird, just let's not.
And I was fighting a kicker as well. So I was like, so anyway, got an x-ray and like I had a hairline fracture there. But I had assumed that 5 months later, like that was fully healed and it was sound to go. So ended up doing my training time. And tough was weird because I didn't find out I was actually definitely in it until like a week before I went. Remember I was coming in and getting you all to like say bits on my little phone for the whole video. That was like when and even then it was like, you're getting flown out, but it's not 100% you're making the final cast, you know what I mean?
It's mad, that.
So they had us in a hotel, and there was about 6 lads who got legged from the hotel. They were like, they had us, there's 16 fighters, 8 middleweights, 8 featherweights, and then a couple of other lads who, the one who Jack Shaw's fighting next, that Yusuf Zalal, is it, or whatever, if you're onto him. He was there, and he's in the UFC now, but he got thrown out the hotel. He was like last minute, they could have turned around and said to me, right, we're not having you. But be stupid for them to fly me out from fucking Liverpool to Vegas for that. But anyway, I'm going off on one again. So
that's good, lad. It's good. Fill it up. Don't worry, lad. Let everyone know.
Yeah. So then, done all that with tough. Found out I was in the hotel in Vegas. Blah de blah. Get chose for the show. So go into the house. I'm on Valentina's team. That was a madness. She obviously Valentina's like out of the bird. She's the best, probably the best female athlete ever. To be honest,
one of the best female.
So that was pretty sick. Like just meeting her and being around her. She's very intense, she's very focused, right? But it's like a bit much for what I'm used to. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not don't get me wrong, I like training hard and I'm focused in that, but I like a bit of a laugh as well in the gym and like a bit more of a relaxed approach.
Oh, it's just not like our environment.
Oh, like nothing like it. No tunes, no water. Like I couldn't drink water.
No, I seen that. That was just, what do you mean? Don't drink water during a 2-hour training session, love.
Lads. Right, leading up to a fight as well. So like normally I'd be water loading. It's a good job I was at featherweight and didn't have to cut any weight. Otherwise it'd have thrown off like my whole
water load. Yeah, you're right there. I didn't even think of that.
So the bigger guys, they were like after training just nailing that major water trying to get it down.
Gallons of water.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. So I'd done that. Got matched with this kid called Khan, who, to be honest, when I was going in and like I was like scouting everyone out, I thought he was one of the better guys. I thought a lot of them weren't great, to be honest. Like skill wise, I thought I could beat all of them. I still do, to be honest, if he didn't break me leg. But Khan was someone who I thought was one of the better guys. Got matched with him first. I was like, sound, I'll still smoke him.
Yeah.
And then literally like a minute into round 1 of the fight, got kicked in the calf, and like I knew, because in fights you can't really feel anything. Can you know yourself.
When you feel something, you know it's proper.
Yeah. So I was like, whoa, that didn't feel good. Yeah. But I remember kicking him back straight away because I was like, that hurt, so I'm going to try and hurt him. Yeah. Kicked his calf back. Carried on fighting anyway. I was pretty much on the back foot then for the rest of that fight because I was scared to go forward and put weight on it. And then you can see a few times where I do go to shooting and stuff, and like my leg gives out on me. So it's definitely like I was compromised. You know what I mean? I had a fucking broken leg.
Yeah.
So never got finished. Still took his back in the second round and stuff. Kept fighting, and then at that point I thought like, I'm gonna have to regroup here, go home, like heal, get back on Cage Warriors, like work my way back to the UFC shot basically. But then it come out on the show, and Dana was saying like, this fucking kid fighting with a broken leg, like it shows how tough he is. Do you know what I mean? So I thought, oh yeah, like something good's gonna come of this. Like they did a big post for it, and it was like Dana was speaking quite highly of me. And then like about a week after, or maybe it was before that, or just after that had come out anyway, we got a phone call off Graham being like, they've asked you back to fight on the finals. So that was fast forward now. I'd been at home for a couple of months. I'd healed my leg. I was just getting back into training.
Yeah, you were just getting back into the gym, lad.
Like one of my first few sessions.
Just remember when I come in, I was training for my fight.
Yeah, for Bobby Green.
And I was just on a Friday morning in, and I was doing pads down, like you were doing something over there, and something got said about him for his fight, and I went, what?
Yeah.
It's like he's fighting on the Ultimate Fighter finale. I was like, what? Yeah. And I've been running over to you and be like, yes, I didn't know.
I remember that Friday.
It hadn't been said. You was doing something with Ben.
Yeah.
Because Ben was tall like your opponents. You were doing working southpaw stuff with him, on Ben.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Paul was doing it with you, I think.
Yeah.
And I was hitting pads with El.
Yeah.
And El just mentioned it to me. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And ran over to you. I'll never forget that.
I'd been called off Graham Thursday night before. So that was Friday morning in the gym. Literally, I was doing privates, lad. I was taking a few privates in the gym. I remember saying to me mate Alex, who comes in, Alex, I was like doing pads for him. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to probably do a few privates, lad, ease back in, maybe fight towards the end of the year on Cage Warriors. And then I belled him that night and was like, lads, I'm fighting in 5 weeks. I just had the phone call there. I can't get you in next Thursday, sorry, lads.
Gonna have to cancel all them privates.
Yeah, literally, I did, cancelled all my privates and started my fight camp, lads, on the Friday, and that's when I seen you.
That was sick, that, you know. I remember Blaze coming back from the Gregs, and we like, what? Like, he's fighting, he went sick as well. It's funny that.
Proper, like, in the back of my head, I was hoping something like that had happened, but I had no idea that was going to come. So then when it did, and I've said this as well, like, it obviously, in terms of like where I was at, I was out of shape. Like, that was for me. Well, I know I'm always in decent enough shape, and I didn't have much weight to cut because it was featherweight. But like fitness-wise, sparring, I hadn't done anything.
You hadn't done any sparring since you got back because of your leg.
Yeah,
you hadn't done nothing.
So I had like 5 weeks of a camp. Fucking got staff towards the end of it. That's another thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, lad, he flew out there, the fight week. So what date was you actually meant to fight?
25th of August.
25th of August, yeah. You were meant to fight then because I was sat in Craig's.
Yeah,
me and Blazer was
you obviously phoned me before it got pulled.
He phoned you like an hour before it got pulled. Speaking to you, we went to Casa, and then Blazer's got a video. Was watching it with the kids. You know what I mean? And lad, literally, it comes up on the telly 5 minutes before you're about to walk out, and the fight is cancelled. And something's happened in the back, and we're like, "What? What's going on here?" So you were meant to fight on the 25th, so you flew out there on like the 20th.
Yeah.
But then he never ended the fight until like the 10th or something, was it?
The 7th of August.
7th of August. 7th of September, 2 weeks later. 2 full weeks. So we had to so tell them about that. We got staph. Anyone that doesn't know staph infection, it's like ringworm and stuff like that. You can get it off mats and training and skin on skin contact. But it's it's well worse than ringworm.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah.
Like, you can take it from there because I've
Yeah.
never had staph.
Have you not?
No.
I'd be lucky.
It's mad. I've trained for like 15 years or whatever. I've never had staph once.
Mad.
Lad.
I never had it until like last year. I got the first one, and then I've had it twice this year. I got it twice in that camp, basically.
Yeah.
So obviously rushing the camp. I think the stress of it being the UFC, the 5-week camp, all that.
Yeah,
like
rushing into
rushing in, I probably
Run
knackered
down.
my
and that.
immune system.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then got staph like the last week of training. Got on the antibiotics. How you're supposed to treat it. Do you know what I mean? Started taking the antibiotics, and I'd finished them when I finished my last one on like the Thursday of fight week. But like I'd told the doctors at the UFC, I finished like 2 weeks ago. It's well dead. Do you know what I mean? And then so the day of the weigh-ins, I saw a doctor. He had actually passed me to fight. He was like, yeah, it looks dead. That's fine. And then it wasn't until the night of the fight, I was warming up, just had me top off, fight shorts on, pretty much ready to go. Lad. I was like, had a sweat going already. I was doing pads with Elle. And the commissioner who stands with you was like, what's that on your arm, bro? And I was like, nothing, mate, nothing. And he was like, no, what? I said, look, it's a scab. The doctor's already seen me, mate. So don't worry. Like, fuck off. I'm trying to warm up. And he's like, I'm just going to get the doctor to come and take a look. And I was like, all right, whatever. Didn't think anything of it again.
Because obviously the doctor had already looked at it and signed it off, hadn't he?
So same doctor comes in from the day before. So I'm like, oh, sound, it's this guy who I saw. So I just showed him, and it's just that, mate, what you've seen. And then he come up to me and was like, properly examining my arm, like started squeezing at it. And like a bit of pus has come out from the scab.
Yeah.
Right. But I think if you have any sort of spot or scab and you squeeze it, lad.
Pus is going to come out, yeah.
Exactly. So I was like, mate, you've cleared me yesterday. Like, I've finished my antibiotics. It's dead, blah, de blah. And I guess they've just got to be very, very strict about those things because he wasn't having it. And he was like, no, I can't let you fight with that. You're still contagious. Like, we can't risk you fighting with that. So in that moment, I was like, oh my God, I've gone on tough. I've broke my leg. I've done all this. My head's been gone. I've come back and I've like got my opportunity. And now from like a staph infection, I can't fight. Like, what even is going on? Like, my head fell off. Do you know what I mean? And thankfully, we rang Graham right afterwards because I was just panicking. Paul was pretty good to be fair. Paul was keeping me calm. He was like, look, we'll speak to Graham. We'll get something sorted. Don't worry. And then pretty quick after that, Graham was like, there's a card in 2 weeks. I've already spoke to Sean Shelby. We're going to try and get you on that. Same opponent, everything pushed back. And thankfully there was. Gilbert Burns was fighting 2 weeks after in the Apex again. So they just basically moved my fight to the start of that card. And it wasn't for a few days. So I didn't actually know if that was a definite. Yeah. But they were like, there's a good chance that's happening. So I had to stay in Vegas. That's a whole other situation because my visa was only a couple of weeks. So that was going to run out. So I had to stay there. So they had to renew my visa whilst I was out there.
How long did they renew it for?
I don't even know. I don't know. I didn't see like what I got to. So I'm not sure what happened with that. But I don't ask any questions. Do you know what I mean?
Don't ask no questions, just sort it.
Yeah. And thankfully, Cullen, lads, the way he works shifts, doesn't he? Because he's still got a job, Cullen. But he wasn't in for like the next 3 weeks. So I was like, lads, please can you stay with me? And he was like, yeah, go ahead, lad, I'll stay with you. So that was it
was nice that you had someone with you.
Exactly. So I had a training partner and I've trained with Cullen for years. So obviously it was sound. He knew the game plan. He was taller than me, so he could even emulate my opponent well. So in actual fact, having those extra 2 weeks
probably
helped me, lads. So I just drilled the game plan more, got more used to the Vegas desert.
And he had to do 2 weight cuts.
And he had to do 2 weight cuts. And I'm a bantamweight.
So I literally never done a weight cut.
So it's sound. I was eating whatever. I was in the PI, and you know yourself, the food there's sound.
You can just get all sorts, all the little bags of popcorn and shit like that.
Unbelievable. So I was just getting food every day from there. Nice, training good, felt better. Was off the antibiotics for longer. So like everything in the end worked out for the best.
Nice.
Yeah. So then finally, September 7th now, the fight's on. Gilbert Burns card. Gilbert Burns against
Sean Brady.
Sean Brady, yeah.
And you know that because it's Sean Brady's one of Blazer's favourites. He's from Philly.
He's from Philly, yeah. Well, Sean Brady won, didn't he?
Yeah.
He got the win that night. And got bumped to that card. First fight of the night. And got the second round submission, lads. And that secured me the contract with the UFC. So,
lovely.
Yeah, we're in. After all that madness.
Yeah, after all that, after everything he's had to go through, we're in.
Yeah.
Finally.
Makes a good story, though, doesn't it?
It does. Makes a very good story, lad.
Yeah.
So obviously now we're, when are we? October 2024. When are you planning on fighting next?
So, in a dream world, selfishly, I was hoping that Moicano would be unscathed from his last fight and you and him would have been on the...
So say at the end of the year, before the end of the same, lad. That was... I was thinking that selfishly as well, to be honest, but Oh, it's one of them. He fought at the very end, September 28th or
Yeah,
something, when
yeah.
it was about 4 weeks ago.
Even
now.
like if you do well in the like,
Yeah,
you
even
did,
if you finish someone in the first round, lad.
it's at that level to turn around
Yeah.
and fight you 10 weeks after. It's
Even if you do a Masvidal, lad, and finish like an Askren in seconds, you've still got to go and do
'Cause it's
another
the camp.
thank for someone, for someone else and another weight cut and that.
Exactly. So that was like a dream scenario. You would have been on that. I could have snuck in on the undercard with you. But now I'm hearing the rumours they're going to do London in March. So
Well, they normally do, don't they? They
Yeah.
normally do a fight
Yeah.
night in London in
Yeah.
March.
So Manchester would have been sick because it's closer to home. But also, ever since going to watch you and Molly fight in the O2, I fought in the Indigo, which is like the Cage Warriors
The
little
Cage
bit there,
Warriors version.
So I've always wanted to fight on the UFC London as well. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's like the home. That's like the UK's
Yeah, the
card,
O2
isn't it?
is, yeah, the O2.
So that is what I'm hoping will be my next fight in March. So yeah, the plan is now just tick over. I've got to get back down to bantamweight because I'm not staying at feather. I'm going back to bantam.
Yeah.
So try to keep training up to Christmas, keep my weight reasonable, have a little bit of break over Christmas, and then start of the year getting a fight camp, lad, for March. That'll be like a perfect world.
Yeah, it would. You're not wrong there. First fight at bantam in the UFC.
Yeah, it will be, yeah. But to be honest, lad, seeing what I've done at feather, even like that kid, he was a big featherweight. Do you know what I mean? It's funny because he's fought people who Cullen's fought. Like, we've got similar opponents. I fought this kid and he's fought Cullen's last opponent. And you see the size difference between me and Cullen. Do you know what I mean? So I just feel like I ragdolled him and like, my styles, grappling heavy, take people down and then wear on them, take the back and choke them. And I know that at bantamweight, there's going to be no one who's going to stop that.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
stop
So confident, get me back to me proper weight class. And I reckon I'll be able to go on mad crazy run, lad, like you're on at the minute, and get myself ranked, get up there.
Be choking bitches.
Literally, lads. And I need to walk out to
lad. She read me mind.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Read me mind.
You put it on today before sparring.
First tune I come on today was Protect Your Neck by the Wu-Tang Clan.
Paddy
And that
always
should
says,
be Nathan's walkout song because he chokes everyone. You know what I mean? He deserves that walkout song more than I do. He's choked more people than I have.
Probably not. I probably haven't choked more people.
You probably
Percentage wise for wins, because you've probably got more.
No, I've got
knockouts
more
and stuff.
fights, but like compared to how many fights you've got.
Yeah. Well,
And lad, you've only got one decision, haven't you?
one decision, yeah.
And then you've choked 8 other
Got
people.
one TKO.
Oh, one TKO and then 7 submissions.
But that was like a ground and pound grappling position. You know what I mean? So it's like, I say like, one TKO, like I knocked him out and never took him down.
It's a TKO, lad. It's a TKO.
Yeah, it's TKO,
It's a
TKO.
would have been heavy if it ended up being a submission to strikes. And you
Oh,
had another
imagine,
submission.
another sub. But I think I've got, like 7 subs then. 7
And
subs.
5 of them rear naked.
Yeah.
1 head and arm, 1 triangle.
One triangle, yeah. No, 2 head and arms, so it'd be 4 rear
Oh, is it? I thought you had. I thought was that first? They were all rear naked,
Yeah,
weren't
they
they?
were, yeah. But my pro debut was a head and arm.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, head and arm triangle, and then that UFC debut was a head and arm triangle. So
Nice.
now we'll go on like a 4-fight rear naked.
Yeah,
streak,
nice.
like I've done on Cage Warriors.
Is there anyone you want to fight then?
You know there is. You know there is.
I'm just asking, lad. I'm just asking.
No, obviously, like I'm actually not bothered who they give me. I do believe I could compete with the top 15 right now, looking at the bantamweight division.
Yeah.
But it makes a lot of sense for me to fight Kalen next. I think that he's had a bit of one of them in the UFC. I think he's 1 and 2. So
Yeah.
he's not had a great start to his career, really. So he'll be wanting to make a statement. Do you know what I mean? I'm coming in. Me and him have got history. I've already beat him as an
That's
amateur.
what I mean. You'd probably say no to the fight anyway. Lad, you've beat him already.
I suppose it's for him. It's a tough one.
You've
because,
just called him Kalen as well. No one knows who that is.
Oh,
It's
sorry, Chip has it.
Yeah, Major Chip has it. It's
Yeah.
not Kalen. It's Major Chip.
Yeah, and obviously you've had the
Yeah,
beef with him
Fred
and
says he
stuff,
started to try to chat shit about yous. Know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it would be nice to see you get him cut. I'd
Yeah.
love to see that.
So yeah, for me, that look, obviously I know I can beat him. Be a nice fight in the UFC. The build up would be good. I think it for me actual career, it'd be a good fight to start me off. But I'm easy. I think I could smoke
No,
quite a
yeah,
lot
he'll
of them.
fight
So,
anyone
yeah.
who's asked. Give
exactly.
you anyone.
Yeah,
Saying that, lad, just before we leave, in fact, there is a fucking good UFC this weekend, isn't there?
there is. Yeah, lads.
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't spoke about
I
that.
know,
Yeah, mad,
My
yeah.
mate's fighting.
Yeah, hand sanny.
Yeah, hand sanitizer boy. But obviously I hope Max batters him, lad.
Yeah. Do you know what I do as well? I've just got a bad feeling. I don't know if he's going
I
to.
just don't think he can starch him, no.
No. Well, that's what he's going to have to do.
I
he's
don't
gonna
think
have
he
to
can
knock him out.
starch him.
No.
But I think if Ilya wants to come out and take him down for 5 rounds, he can.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Really?
Because Ilya doesn't, he hasn't showed, he has got good grappling, lad.
Yeah.
And
Well, he is
hasn't
a
showed it.
grappler, isn't
Yeah,
he?
he's a
That's-
grappler.
Yeah.
What's just started knocking people out.
Yeah.
Like, if he wanted to, I think he could come out and take Max down for 5 rounds, lad. And as everyone knows, I don't like Ilya But
No.
he's a very good fighter, lad. You can't
Yeah.
take that away from him.
No, he is. And I hope Max Holloway does him in. But
Same. I hope Max Holloway dances around him for 5 rounds and jabs his head off.
One thing I'll say about Ilya is, although I do think he's very good, I do rate him as a fighter. I do think he's very beatable as well. And I also think he's quite one-dimensional on the feet in that he's a boxer.
And he's looking to take your head off.
I know it's easier said than done, but he's wide open to his lead, like getting bladdered everywhere.
Well, that's what Volk was doing, wasn't he?
And the head kick, I know Jai Herbert timed a lovely one on him.
Yeah, nearly knocked him away. Out, yeah.
So I do think and Max has got so much variety. He's been spinning back, kicking everyone in the face and stuff.
You're right.
He head kick, landed that head kick on Volk that dropped in. I wouldn't be surprised either way, whatever happens, but let's hope for a Holloway.
That's what I'm after. And as everyone knows, I'm a Whittaker fan, lad. So I've met Kamzat. Kamzat was nice when he met me, you know what I mean? He was an alright fella, but I like Robert Whittaker. I hope Robert Whittaker wins.
I love Kamzat.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I like Rob Whittaker as well, but me and my mates love Kamzat Alex as well. That's like his favourite fighter.
I proper like Volk and Whittaker, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I hope Whittaker wins. I don't even know who else is on the card.
They're the main two.
They're the main two. Can't even think of anyone else.
That's Shara Bullet kid who they like.
Oh, is he fighting again? Is he? Yeah.
The Taekwondo kid.
The fella with one eye.
The one who looks like Johnny English's villain. Have you seen that? That's when he's describing the villain.
That's a shout, lad.
That's Shara Bullet.
But yeah, lad, thank you for coming on, mate.
Nice one, Pad. Thanks for having me.
That
wasn't the best, was
shout out any of your sponsors, anything like that. Let them know, lad.
Obviously, lad, we're Primo. Got the fresh tracky on now, so these are my main sponsors. So thank you very much, keeping me kitted out with the best gear. My head's gone blank. I've got loads of other sponsors, but these are the main ones. So thank you. And Finer Filters as well, and Jack Harper. They've all backed me since literally had my amateur days. Those first couple of amateur fights. So those 3 companies in particular, very very grateful to you. Thank you very much.
They are always the best sponsors. The one that are there from day one. Legend. But yeah, as we said at the start, it's been a while. It's been a long time. But that was another episode of Chat and Pony with my man Nathan Fletcher. Like, comment, subscribe, people. Hopefully see you soon and we don't have a big gap in between them again. Peace out.
He's right, Pad. Thank you.